All right, so coach, when did you get involved in esports?
I got involved with esports a little over 2 years ago. I had the opportunity through my job, Collegiate Sports Management Group, to work with three governing collegiate esports body, the ECAC, who handles four-year institutions, the ECC, who also handles four-year institutions on the East Coast, and then the NJCAA, which handles collegiate esports for community colleges. Through my role there, I'd had the opportunity to help schools get esports up and running on campus, help them with marketing, and help find brand partners to help drive revenue through esports on campus.
Now, how long have you been coaching, and is it just been esports, or have you dabbled around with other sports as well?
Yeah, my experience at Five Towns College will be my first stint as an esports coach. But like I said, I've been working on the association side, the conference side, and now I really thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to take what I've learned talking with the 100 esports coaches nationwide over the last 3 years, understanding what worked, what hasn't worked, and applying it to Five Towns College as we start the esports program. In full transparency, my background is heavily in traditional sports. I have experience coaching tennis in both high school camps as well as collegiate camps, and look forward to applying what we know that's similar in traditional sports to esports, but making sure that we know that esports is unique in its own rights.
Now, I wanted to really dive in deeper into this. You probably met with so many different schools that needed a head coach to jumpstart their esporting programs. What made you say yes to, I guess, what made you attracted to Five Towns? Because we've only been known for basketball, soccer, and this is kind of a surprise that none of us really expected. And I just want your thoughts on what led to you making this decision on wanting to be the coach here at Five Towns College for esports.
Yeah, my decision came relatively quickly after speaking with Matt Curcio, the athletic director at Five Towns College, and understanding his vision on why he wants to bring esports. We see a lot of schools just adding esports because the ability to recruit students, retain students, and engage with the student body. And absolutely, that's important on the university as a whole, and to create opportunities for the student athletes, whether you're on the basketball court or in the esports venue. But Matt assured me that I'll have the resources to kind of build the esports department the way I picture, and the way, more importantly, I want to build it based on the feedback of the first recruits that we bring in, or the students already on campus that are involved with esports. Is most likely the ability and the benefits of esports is the diversity. It could be the lead band player, the lead vocalist, singer, the valedictorian. Esport players come in all shapes, sizes, and demographics, and I want to listen to them and know what they're looking for, and use the resources that I've been assured that I'll have to help build this program the right way.
I understand this is a new program and it's a lot of excitement behind it. Do we have any idea where the team is going to be based around? Because I guess there are some ideas being thrown around, I'm sure, between you and Matt when you guys discussed.
Yeah, our hopes is to compete in the ECC conference, which is a Division II conference based in West Babylon, New York. The reason for that is their ability to take what they do in traditional sports and apply it to esports, and most notably with highlighting the accomplishments not only in the esports venue, but also in the classroom to these student athletes, because can't be successful if they're not successful in the classroom. And the ECC also offers the ability to have various other competitors around our geographical footprint, whether that's St. Joseph's College in Patchogue or Farmingdale College in Farmingdale. There's a nice niche market in the growing esports market on Long Island.
Okay. So the ECC, that's relatively just based around Long Island's eastern mid-Atlantic campuses around on the map, or is this also kind of like in different areas, whether it's the southeast or all the way on the west coast?
Yeah, primarily the ECC is based on the East Coast, heavily in the Northeast, the New York market. They are growing. They have New Hampshire and Hood College, which I believe is in Maryland. And then hopefully we take what we start in the ECC based on our comfortability. I've worked with Dr. Drainoff and Casey, who heads the esports verticals at the ECC, for 2 years now with my other role. So I know their vision and I know why the Five Towns College would be a good fit under their association. But we're not taking out the ability to join other associations such as the ECAC, which has 70 colleges under their ECAC esports umbrella nationwide. So we just
Now,
want to start with the Northeast and then grow based on the initial start with our program.
yeah, sorry to interject right there or almost cut you off. I just wanted to ask you, what are the possibilities that Five Towns could eventually join the ECAC and face a relatively tougher challenge? Do you have any expectations that this team can be capable of being one of those type of contenders down the road?
Yeah, I think we're definitely not starting this program just with the mindset of a club feeling. This will be under athletics. We want to be competitive. I will do everything I can to help the team as well as bring in new members to help elevate us, whether that's competing in the ECC or the ECAC to get national attention in esports.
You have the right mindset as a head coach, especially in your first year leading this program, which is going to be very much anticipated by everyone. Is there a certain type of coach, whether it's in college or in the professional level, in all sports, that you try to emulate your thinking and your strategies after?
I wouldn't say that there's one coach, whether that's in traditional sports or the coaches that I've came across over my years in esports. I think I'm just a learner at heart. So whether you're a coach or a captain of the team, I take what the best practices and I try to apply that in my current role and pass that on to the individuals that I will be coaching at Five Towns College.
Excellent. Now, diving deeper into esports and really getting a grasp on how this whole phenomenon works, how do you prepare for an esports matchup? Like, is there a certain routine that you, as a coach, go through with your players? Or do you guys go through any strategies? Is there actual training, whether it's mentally, physically, that you guys endure before you go into these battles?
Yeah, absolutely. Esports, unfortunately, has a lot of stereotypes, and I think the world as a whole is seeing the opportunities and the strengths of esports as it gets the attention it deserves. And normally, when we think about esports, we think about just playing video games in the basement. But there's a lot of similarities between esports and traditional sports in terms of preparing for a match. And what I mean by that, of course, we'll practice daily, if not every other day. We will review Twitch streams and game content to understand what we did right or what we did wrong, as well as watch opposing teams' Twitch accounts to make sure we know what they're strategizing on or how we could best suit, whether that's plugging and playing certain players or changing our game style and knowing who we're going to play. And that's everything that we see in traditional sports. And my colleagues at Five Towns College, whether that's the basketball coach or the soccer coach, is probably doing the same thing in their office and with their team. So I just want to bring my strengths in traditional sports as well as my knowledge in esports to apply to better the program.
It's a very versatile approach right there, Coach. Now, as a player, how much pressure are you under when competing in these type of events?
A lot of pressure. Like anything, again, going back to traditional sports, basketball or soccer, there's a pressure on you. And just knowing myself and the competitive nature, when I'm playing esports or when I'm playing traditional sports, there's a sense of you don't want to let your teammates down. And a lot of esport games, if not all esport games, it comes with playing with co-teammates, whether that's Fortnite, Rocket League, all the way up to Overwatch 6v6. So there'll be a lot of pressure, and that's something that I will also want to bring to light because I know the importance of mental health and awareness and issues facing traditional sports as well as esports and the struggles that they're facing not only in the classroom but will face in esports matches. I want to make sure that it's an open door policy and I'm there to be with them on the good highs, but more importantly, when they might be struggling.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned a few of the games that, which I was kind of expecting, considering that when it comes to esports and e-gaming, it's always centers around usual like first-person battle games, whether it's Fortnite, Call of Duty. But I'm also wondering, are you guys going to be, are you guys going to be playing sports type of games? So in this case, like NHL, MLB, or like I just want your opinion on what it's gonna be like heading into this season if these games are gonna be involved as well.
Yeah, the initial thought process that we've had at Five Towns College is to start with the popular games, League of Legends, Overwatch, and Rocket League. But as you alluded to, there's various game titles, and we want to make sure that we can be adaptable based on the interests of not only the student bodies currently, but the students coming into Five Towns College. If we see that they have interest in Hearthstone, NBA 2K, MLB The Show, we will look to join associations to provide that structure and the ability to showcase their talents through the game titles that they wish to compete in.
Well, whenever you guys decide to drop the puck for NHL, I'll definitely be there because I I got my own team involved during the summertime, so I'm having a blast with that. But staying back on topic with this, going back on topic with this whole thing, you mentioned I don't know if you mentioned really if you guys have an official roster compiled yet, but are there any players that we should look out for, particular names that people are going to be excited to witness and hear about on campus this fall?
Yeah, the esports team really came together 2 weeks ago, and we're still finalizing it internally in the school to do a press release to the whole university body and the ecosystem, as well as trying to get into the associations that I alluded to, whether that's the ECC or the ECAC. So right now, there's no roster, which I think is the exciting part because who knows where this team will be going to. I'm sure there'll be a lot of students that are already enrolled in Five Towns College that wants to join, and I'm excited to meet them and work with them as we grow this together. But also, it's one of my main responsibilities is to recruit high school students or transfers to bring into Five Towns College. And I think one of the abilities with my other role with working with associations is the fact that I work with the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Association, for 2-year schools. I'm going to look into tap into that market to find the transfers, whether that's Nassau Community College, Suffolk Community College, or colleges nationwide to bring them to Long Island.
Awesome. Well, there's definitely going to be a lot to cover definitely this fall when the team does go go up against these competitors. So I cannot wait for that. But personally, from your perspective, what should we expect from this team that'll get everyone's attention here at the college?
Great question. It's hard to answer since we're still forming it. Don't know if we'll have 6 students just to form an Overwatch team or 50 students coming in enrolled in the esports club. But we just want to make sure that this is not a club. This will be a varsity team. We will do everything in our power to highlight Five Towns College in the best light as we're competing against other colleges. And we want to bring positive PR. We want to help with recruitment, retainment, and engaging the student body at Five Towns College. And ultimately, we just want to, on the administration level, offer these student athletes the ability to showcase their skills and learn life skills in terms of communication, teamwork, dedication, et cetera, and hopefully attribute what they're learning in the classroom into esports. I know Five Towns College is heavily invested into film and technology. We see esports going into content creation, whether that's on Twitch, editing video clips. I want to apply what they're learning into the classroom into my esports program where hopefully they can land that internship or that full-time job post-graduation.
Now, I know this is something you alluded to earlier. You definitely had discussions with some of your fellow colleagues, which are coaches for their respective sports here at Five Towns College. What was the reception like when this was announced that Five Towns College was getting an esports team? Like, what was everyone's reaction? And especially, have you had deeper talks with coaches where you've gotten advice that you can utilize to your own advantage heading into the season?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits, and I give kudos to Matt Gercio and President Dr. Cohen, is when I'm speaking with a lot of these coaches, they had difficulties getting the resources to even get a venue up and running, or the fees to join these associations. And from everything that has expired so far, I have the resources to help this program grow. So kudos to the administration. So that's one of the reasons that I've learned is the struggles of just getting it up and running. Luckily, I don't have to deal with that, but everyone's excited. And Five Towns College is definitely not the first esports team to get started on a college campus. There's a little over 2,000 nationwide. And the reoccurring theme is kudos to the entire school to seeing the ability to the points that I mentioned before in terms of the recruitment opportunities, retaining students, as well as engaging the student body while being competitive.
Okay. Now, I think you mentioned this earlier before we were talking about how when I mentioned that if you had any desire to level up after being in the ECC, then joined in the ECAC. I know you mentioned a mindset revolving around that, but for this season, this inaugural season, which is going to be heavily acknowledged by everyone on campus. What is the mindset heading into your first season coaching at Five Towns College, or in this case, just in esports in general?
Yeah, I think it would be pretty mature on my part if I'm aiming for the national championship, whether that's under the ECC or any other association. Of course, we would love to get to that. But I also have to be mindful that a victory for us might be coming in fifth rather than eighth, might be coming fourth rather than ninth, so on and so on. Everything that I will do as a coach is to better the student body based on their talents and understanding their strengths, but more importantly, their weaknesses. So everyone watching, and I hope they do watch once we get our Twitch channels up and running, just be mindful that this is a new program and this is the start of the foundation. And if you look at an analogy, we're just putting the blocks together to hopefully build a long-lasting, successful program that ultimately gets to the elite levels.
Now, coming from a broadcasting perspective, because I usually announce some of the games, whether it's basketball, volleyball. We haven't gotten around soccer yet, but I was wondering, should we expect any actual live broadcasts of these type of matchups? Do you guys have any talks, whether with Matt or with Matt Gercio? How is this going to work in a broadcasting, I guess, aspect?
Yeah, I would love to broadcast the esports, and that's definitely something that we see in collegiate esports. One of the benefits of that is content creation and growing the PR around the team, which ultimately I will use to recruit students and showcase the esports abilities on Five Towns College. So whether it's you or a colleague of yours, definitely want to explore the broadcasting opportunities and apply what you know in traditional sports with the basketball and apply it to the NBA 2Ks or the Rocket Leagues of the world. Of course, there'll be differences, but a lot of similarities that I've learned, such as a coach, I feel like a lot of the broadcasters will learn when they enter esports as well. But broadcasting will be a huge component of what we want to do, especially in the start as we build this.
All right, awesome. So we'll definitely expect to see most of these broadcasts streaming live on Twitch or down the road when we stream it, whether on YouTube or the Five Towns College page. This is the last question. I don't know if you heard of it yet or if it was announced, but did you guys have a schedule and plan of who you guys are going to be facing this upcoming season, or is that still in the works?
Still in the works. I've had the chance to speak with Dr. Jernoff, the commissioner of the ECC. Regularly, the events are held on Friday, but their association has been growing rapidly, so it might have to go to a 2 or 3 day schedule. Once that is all finalized and the roster is finalized, we'll be sure to post that on Five Towns College athletics pages, as well as trying to start Five Towns College esports specific pages to spread the news on recent alerts, roster additions, and more importantly, the schedules to hopefully engage with the student body and the entire community of Five Towns College to help support us.
Now, you're someone that holds a lot of responsibility with this whole team, whether it's from coaching, promoting, or recruiting. do you have, I know there's been talks about what we're going through a pandemic right now, and we're not sure if there's going to be a second wave or not with COVID. Have you guys, in the back of your minds, come up with a plan to, I guess, um, or do you guys have a plan in store for how you guys will handle it if in this case COVID impacts, whether it's, you know, the physical base of where you guys play in the games? Like, are you guys going to go to a virtual type of thing?
It's definitely a waiting game, but I think one of the abilities of esports is the opportunity to still compete and still practice virtual, whether you're in your dorm room or your individual house. Esports is not like traditional sports where you have to be in person. And I would confident to say that regardless of a new spike, we can still compete in esports and compete under the ECC. Um, just virtual. Of course, that will come with learning curves for us because coaching might be more difficult, recruiting might be more difficult, but we could do all that virtual. And everyone, just not myself, but every single esports coach nationwide is dealing with that. And that's just something that we have to face if the second wave does come back. But first and foremost, the safety of our players and the entire Five Towns College is of most priority.
All I can say is fingers crossed. Hope we get a full season under our belts, and I can't wait to see what you guys bring to the table, as this is a very exciting year for Five Towns College athletics. It seems like we're adding new sports year after year, so there's definitely a lot of anticipation behind it, and I am very excited. I wish you good luck, Coach, and look to see how this team performs this upcoming year.
Thank you so much, Mike. Look forward to working with you and your entire staff and bringing esports to Five Towns College.